Some things don't appear in your life by chance. They arrive because your energy has made you visible to them. And if this video found you, not yesterday, not a week ago, but now, it's because your frequency finally aligned with the vibration of its message. According to Bob Proctor, nothing enters your experience unless it's in harmony with your dominant vibration. You didn't find this, you matched it, even if you weren't aware you were asking. There's a moment, often quiet and unnoticed, when your inner signal shifts just enough for the universe to start sending answers. Not through loud voices or dramatic signs, but through subtle alignments. A title that pulls you in, a phrase that stops you, a feeling that says, "Pay attention." These moments are not accidents. They are mirrors. And your current vibration has become clear enough to reflect back exactly what your next level needs to hear. This is how the law of vibration works. You are constantly emitting energy through your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, and the field around you responds in kind. When that frequency begins to rise, the reality around you starts to rearrange. New people show up, old patterns dissolve, and sometimes a video appears, not as entertainment, but as confirmation that something invisible has already begun shifting inside you. You may not be able to name what's changing. You may not feel ready, but readiness isn't a feeling. It's a frequency. And right now, whether you realize it or not, something in you has become open. You're no longer seeking from lack. You're attracting from resonance. This message found you because your energy called it in. Not from desperation, but from readiness. And when that happens, it means something has already begun to move. Long before anything shifts in your physical reality, the universe starts responding to your vibration. Not to your words, not to your hopes, but to your signal, the frequency beneath your thoughts. That's why sometimes you sense something coming before there's any evidence. It's why certain patterns begin to fall apart quietly, and why you start feeling disconnected from things you used to crave. The signs aren't always loud. Often, they move like a whisper beneath the surface of your routine. Bob Proctor taught that everything is energy, and energy is always moving into form, through form, and out of form. That means change doesn't begin when you see it. It begins when your vibration opens the door to it. And one of the earliest signs is an unexplained restlessness. Not chaos, not drama, just a subtle knowing that you're outgrowing something invisible. You don't always know what's coming, but you feel the space being made for it. You may also notice that your emotions become more sensitive. Things that used to trigger you lose their grip. Places or people that once felt safe begin to feel heavy. This isn't regression, it's realignment. Your frequency is no longer resonating with your past reality, and the universe, in response, begins to loosen the threads of your old environment. What seems random on the outside is actually a vibrational reordering, and that process always happens before any visible change. Sometimes, synchronicities begin to appear, small, but strange. The same number showing up, a word repeated across different situations, a person from your past appearing just as you're thinking of a new direction. These aren't coincidences. They're vibrational confirmations. They tell you, the energy has shifted. Stay aware. Stay steady. Something is forming. And when these signs begin to show up, especially if they're subtle and almost easy to ignore, it's because you've entered the pre-manifestation phase. The energy is gathering. The field is responding. And the next level of your life is not being built through effort, but through alignment. There's a moment in the energetic shift where things begin to soften. Not outside, but within. You stop holding on so tightly. You stop needing answers right now. And slowly, without realizing it, your resistance begins to dissolve. You don't force this release. It happens naturally, like ice melting under sunlight. And when it does, something powerful begins to occur. Your energy starts to move again. Flow returns. According to Bob Proctor's teachings, resistance is what blocks the natural stream of abundance. It doesn't matter how much you visualize or how deeply you desire. If your energy is tangled in fear, doubt, or control, you create static in the signal. But when resistance weakens, your vibration becomes clear. And in that clarity, the things meant for you can finally find you. This shift doesn't always feel dramatic. In fact, it often comes disguised as relief. You stop obsessing over timing. You stop trying to fix everything at once, and instead of chasing what you want, you begin to feel it gravitating toward you. Not because you've given up, but because you've let go. That difference is subtle, but vibrationally, it's everything. You might notice this as a change in your body, deeper breaths, more stillness, a lightness in places that used to feel heavy, or in your thoughts, less urgency, more trust. This is flow awakening inside you. You are no longer pushing energy outward in all directions. You are now allowing it to gather, to build, to move in alignment with what you truly desire, not what you were conditioned to pursue. When resistance fades, momentum builds, and not the frantic kind, but a quiet, steady current pulling you forward. If you're feeling this calm after a long season of pressure, don't question it. That's the vibration of readiness. That's what the universe has been waiting for. And now, it can finally respond, not to your struggle, but to your surrender. Before something big enters your life, your emotions start to behave differently, but not always in ways you'd expect. You might feel a sudden calm, even when nothing seems resolved, or an unusual sensitivity where you cry for no clear reason. You may feel waves of joy that pass through you and vanish, leaving only a trace. These aren't mood swings, they're signals, emotional frequencies rising ahead of manifestation, and they carry the signature of what's on its way. Bob Proctor taught that your emotions are indicators of your vibration, and your vibration is what sets the stage for your reality. When something big is approaching, your subconscious feels it before your eyes see it. The energy of that future reality begins to ripple through your emotional field, preparing you, adjusting you, clearing space for what's next. And even when your mind tries to doubt, your body knows. It reacts. It tunes in. You might find yourself waking up with a sense of expectancy, not tied to a specific event, but just the quiet knowing that something has shifted. Or maybe you feel nostalgic, as if the old version of you is saying goodbye without words. This is not emotional confusion. It's vibrational transition. The breakthrough is not far. It's forming just beyond the senses, and your emotions are receiving the echo of that reality in advance. Sometimes, just before a major change, you'll also feel like you're floating between versions of yourself. One foot in the past, one in the unknown. That in-between space is sacred. It's where transformation ripens. It's where your energy stabilizes to match what's coming. And the more you allow yourself to feel, without labeling or resisting, the faster the breakthrough finds its way into form. These emotional shifts are not distractions. They're communication. A way for the unseen to touch you before it arrives. And when you start honoring these feelings, even the strange ones, You show the universe you're not just ready to receive. You're already beginning to embody what's coming. There's a strange space you enter right before something big happens, a space where nothing outside seems to confirm what you feel inside. You look around and see no proof, no shift, no dramatic signal. And yet, deep within you, there's a calm certainty rising. It's not logical, it's not visible, but it's real. This is the phase of vibrational alignment before physical evidence, the point where your energy says yes even while your reality still looks the same. Bob Proctor always taught that what you hold internally is far more powerful than what you observe externally. The law of vibration operates on resonance, not reaction, which means your inner frequency must come first, and when it does, the outside world has no choice but to reorganize around it. But here's the paradox. Right before that shift becomes visible, you'll often feel a wave of silence. Nothing seems to move, and that's where most people turn back. But if you stay in that silence, if you trust the alignment even without evidence, you cross into a higher frequency field. That's where attraction begins. Not the attraction of chasing, but the kind that draws things to you with precision and speed. Because you've stopped reacting, you've started radiating, and the universe can now respond to the truth of your signal, not the noise of your doubt. You may notice this moment in subtle ways. You stop obsessing over how or when. You find peace in the present. You begin to appreciate tiny details. And without knowing why, you feel different. That shift in your feeling is the alignment. It's not a mood, it's a frequency lock. And when that lock happens, your external world begins its slow but certain rearrangement. No one sees this part of the process. It's invisible, it's internal. But it's where the most powerful manifestations are born. You don't need proof to believe. You need belief to unlock the proof. And once that inner resonance holds steady, the physical will follow, exactly as it's meant to, and often faster than you imagined. There comes a moment, quiet, grounded, almost ordinary, when you're no longer reaching, no longer chasing, no longer trying to force anything into existence. And in that stillness, something opens, not in the world around you, but within your energy. You've cleared enough noise, softened enough resistance, and allowed enough space for what was always meant for you to begin arriving. This is not coincidence. This is resonance reaching maturity. Bob Proctor often said that you don't get what you want. You get what you are in harmony with. And when you're finally ready to receive, you've become a match to the life you once only imagined. That readiness doesn't scream. It doesn't feel like a peak. It feels like alignment, a steady, grounded sense that you're no longer waiting for something to complete you. You're simply ready to meet it, without fear, without urgency. What arrives in this space is not always what you expected. Sometimes, it's better. Sometimes, it's quieter. But it always reflects your new vibration. Opportunities come not just because you worked for towards them, but because you made room for them. People show up who mirror your expansion, not your wounds. And doors open, not randomly, but rhythmically, in tune with the frequency you've chosen to live in. You begin to realize that receiving isn't about luck. It's about coherence. It's about being so aligned with your truth that you no longer need to control how life delivers your desires. You simply trust, and that trust becomes a magnet. Not to just any reality, but to the one that's been orbiting you, waiting for your permission to land. If you're in this place now, If something in you feels more open, more still, more certain, you've already stepped into that frequency. Stay there. Let life meet you here, and let the rest unfold.